Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's Season 9, Episode 8. And today we continue our focus on the cup competitions as we try to win a second and maybe even a third trophy of the series and of the season with Newcastle by beating Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final, which is going to be a formidable task. They're in third place in the league, they're favourites for this game. In fact, they beat us in the league just a week ago in a dress rehearsal for this tie with both sides playing their first team. You can see in the league we've let things go slightly. We're not in the favourites for the top four now. There's still an outside chance, but if Liverpool win their games in hand, it's pretty much all over. The one good thing for us is we beat Arsenal in midweek despite making 11 changes in preparation for this, so we've now got a 4-point gap to them with 2 games in hand, and even though we'll be resting some players, hopefully we can make sure the top 6 is assured. That'll mean that Arsenal fall further behind, and if we are here next year, we can try and make it a 6-horse race again with Arsenal falling behind yet further. So let's go and look at the schedule quickly. It's the only thing we're going to do before we play this game. It's a massive cup semi-final. Then as you know, we've got the Europa League quarters coming up. My plan is that hopefully we'll get through there. If it is looking tight, we'll come back for the second leg. If not, we'll come back for the semi-final should we get through, or the FA Cup final if we get to that. So there could be plenty of big games to come. It's all about winning trophies now. We've got to this position where we can't win the Premier League, but we can compete for pretty much everything else. There's a few other major jobs that are a little bit insecure, which I'll show you in a minute. So the more trophies we can win, the better chance we've got of getting those. But the 3 games we've played since the last episode, firstly was the 6th round of the FA Cup, otherwise known of course as the quarter-final. We won that one 4-0 in a brilliant performance. Jamal Lewis and a Laporte own goal, since signing from City apparently in this career, in the first 10 minutes put things out of sight, and then late on Liverpool came and chased the game, and Zia and Rice got goals on the counter. We did lose in the league to Chelsea though after the international break. We were missing a few due to injury and fatigue. Iwobi got injured again in that game. He's starting to become a bit injury prone at his age now. Lavinas and Yanderson scored for us, 2 of the Brazilian youngsters, but Pulisic with a brace, and Alex Alacon as well. They wrapped up the win and the 3 points for Chelsea and gave them a bit more confidence coming into today's game. But we did beat Arsenal 1-0 in midweek despite making the full 11 changes. Our backup team doing really well again, Mason Greenwood with the winner in the first half. We dominated the match and completely deserved it, and it fills us with confidence going into this crucial game at Wembley. So that's the little bit of action on the pitch. Obviously we are showing you more episodes from this season as usual, but the fact that all of our games are on TV shows you how important they are, and they're all at latter stages of competitions, and that's what we want to focus on. If it means at the end of the series we get a year or 2 less, then so be it if it means we're winning trophies along the way, or at least competing right at the death of tournaments. But before we play the game, as promised, let's go and have a look at the job centre, or the job security in fact. We want to see which jobs are a little bit insecure and where we could be plying our trade next year. So there are some fairly big clubs along the way, but there's only one that really stands out at the moment, and that is AC Milan in Italy. They're down in 7th at the moment, decent financially and got lots of good players. It's a job we'd really like to take on and restore them to their former glory. They've got all the facilities there, and it's just about us taking them to the top. There's one job that keeps flicking into insecure and back out again. That's Atletico Madrid in Spain. Another one we'd be delighted to take, but obviously that's going to be a tough league with Barcelona, Madrid and Valencia, who we've got in the Europa League, all well above them in the domestic table. It's not a job we turn down, but obviously Milan looks like one that could be an easier rebuild to start with before moving on to Spain and Germany after. I do want to have a go in the Bundesliga at some point. It's one of my favourite leagues in real life. I watch plenty of it at the weekends on TV, just as I do the Italian league, and to be fair I do now with La Liga as well, particularly since they started showing games on free TV in England. But enough about that, we'll see what happens in the summer. We've got plenty to focus on at Newcastle at the moment, so we can't take our eye off the ball in the slightest. The reason this game's so important, as you can see above, Sunderland and Stoke were the other semi-final. Stoke have got through there, and that could be a final for us. Not as easy as the Leeds one, and certainly not one we take for granted, but we'd surely be favourites and expecting to get a result there. So let's get into this one. The hardest tie again is the semi-final. There's some league games going going on which we don't care about, although Liverpool losing their games in hand could give us a chance at the top four. If we win the Europa League, that'll become irrelevant. Chelsea come into this in brilliant form though, and we're in inconsistent form and haven't won too many games against Chelsea recently. So let's have a look at the lineup. It's pretty much as you'd expect. We're at full strength with what we've got available. There's just a couple of players with knocks. Iwobi's not on the bench as a result of that recent injury, but aside from that you could name the 11 and probably the rest of the squad too. Jamal Lascelles misses out. He wants to leave in the summer. He came to me with the classic report of wanting a new challenge, feels he's achieved all he can. I'm not quite sure how we can say that when we're going for two big competitions, which I'm presuming that he's still here. He's never won in his career before. But nevertheless, we're going to crack on with the season, and if he is called upon, I'd expect him to be professional. We've got David Raya in goal. He'll be the captain on the day again. Joe Gomez and Jamal Lewis are the fullbacks, with Konza and Yanderson in the middle. Douglas Luiz in his familiar Segundo Volante role, with Billy Gilmour as the deep line playmaker, and then Daniel Arzani, Mauro Oliveira and Brian Barrett, the three-man creative force, behind Florentin Bernard, the wonder kid striker, who's now reached 20 goals for the season. He's not been in the best of form recently, but luckily Zia has, so if we need him off the bench he can do a job, as can Greenwood, who scored the winner in midweek. So let's get into the game and see if we can get a result. This is going to be one of our most crucial games of the season, following on from that Carabao Cup final a couple of months ago. It's the 4-2-3-1 for Chelsea. I'm glad to see that Larsson's not in the team. He's a man who causes us problems all the time, and he's not even in the squad in fact, so that could be a positive for us today. It's not like they haven't got an embarrassment of riches though. Pulisic comes in for him. We've already seen the damage he did last weekend, as well as Alarcon in the number 10 role, so there's plenty of dangerman for them, and we're going to have to be at our best to get through today. We'll hope for a Jordan Pickford masterclass in terms of making a couple of errors, which he has done before, which will hopefully see us through to the final. We're going to tell the lads to go out and get revenge. Not quite what Antia recommended, our assistant, but we're going to go for it anyway. Over half the team are motivated and the rest are keen or passionate, so let's get into the first half and see if we can get the lead. It's Gilmour with the ball from the kickoff. He finds Yanderson at the back. Konza to Gilmour. Can we build one early on? We can't. Unfortunately, the highlight ends. It usually does in 10 or 15 seconds, so I probably shouldn't have been surprised. 10 minutes gone, we've not seen another highlight, but now we've got a corner. Barrett flicks it on at the near post, but it's just into the side netting, and the first chance of the match goes begging. We've got the ball with Oliveira in the number 10 role. He goes back to Douglas Luiz. Now Gilmour. Out to Jamal Lewis, overlapping on the left. Into Bernard. Good header at the front post. It went down into the ground, but a good save by Pickford down to his left. Gilmour with a free kick as we come back a minute later, but he's put it wide of the post. The keeper had it covered in truth. We've got a goal kick at the back with Raya. He's taking it short to Yanderson. The two centre-halves keep splitting and we try to build from the back. Hopefully it won't cost us like it did in Lyon. We still got through in that tie, but we made things harder than we should have, though Jamal Lewis is coming down the left now. Cuts it inside to Barrett and then goes on the overlap, but the challenge from Pulisic falls for Gilmour. He gets it out to Joe Gomez, overlapping on the other side. Into Barrett at the back post. He goes back to Jamal Lewis. Into the box. It deflects off Barella, but he clears it away as far as Konza. Now Lewis to Gilmour. Barrett's got him on the overlap again, but he greedily goes for the shot from range, and it's comfortably high and wide, and with a quarter of the game gone, it remains goalless. Joe Gomez with a throw at the right back area. It was a poor one, but luckily it was headed straight back to him, and now Gilmour's got the ball in the centre circle. Barrett's running off him on the left. Plays a 1-2, but Gilmour's robbed of possession. Gedson charges forward through central midfield. Into Alarcon, he puts it in, and a silly error in the middle of the pitch has cost us the first goal of the game. We're behind with just over a quarter gone, and it's going to be a long road back into this one. It's Chelsea with a throw at right back. We're going to demand more from the lads because they haven't created any clear-cut chances, but Chelsea have only had one in the match as Pickford makes a brilliant save from Oliveira. They only needed one shot to score as we gifted them a chance, and Billy Gilmour's going to be in trouble if we lose this tie. Janderson with the ball to Barrett. Back out to Gilmour on the right. Can he atone with the crossing? He can't, but it falls for Arzani. Gedson heads it up in the air. It doesn't quite go away. Arzani on the volley from 8 yards out puts it in at the near post past Pickford. I'd argue he probably should have got something on that, but the power just about beat him, and we're level now at 1-1. Barella with a free kick, he finds Zuma. Gomez heads it down, Gilmour again. What on earth are you doing, son? Show a bit of composure. He just hacks it away and hits it off the back of his own man and behind for a corner. Pulisic into the box, Ray has been fouled. Samuel Titi adjudged to have fouled him, and thankfully we survive with 10 minutes to the break. Arzani with a free kick puts it wide. End-to-end action now, but it remains 1-1 as we nearly reach half-time. We've got a free kick 30 yards out. Billy Gilmour will take it straight into the wall again. He's had a shocking first half. It's not been that he's been poor, but he's lacked composure and it's cost us a few times. The corner's headed away by Zuma at the back post and it falls for Janderson, the centre half. Wins the foul expertly and now it's going to be pumped into the box. Will we get time before the break and will we see the highlight if we do? We don't see anything at all. The whistle goes. It's 1-1 at the break. Chelsea have only had one shot on target. We gifted them the goal by giving away possession with Billy Gilmour. We get back into it a few minutes later with a stroke of luck of our own. But we've got a lot of work to do in the second half and we need to let the lads know that. Our assistant Mikel Antia wants us to encourage them, tell them to do it for the fans. I'm not quite sure what we're going to go for actually. I think we'll have to go with him because there's not much else that's appropriate. Jamal Lewis is motivated, he's been charging down the left, though his delivery hasn't been great and a few of the lads have been poor in possession. Barella's got the ball from the Chelsea kickoff. He finds Ribeiro. This is such a big game for us, even if we don't do well in the Europa League now. If we could win both of the domestic cups, it would be a ridiculously good season and really raise our stock for the European super clubs. Gilmour's got the ball in the middle and a highlight ends, which must have meant he didn't make another crucial error. We've got a warning to close Rodrigo down, which we'll do. That's the Chelsea right fullback, but with nearly an hour gone on the clock, it's still 1-1 and there's not many highlights to be seen. For some reason I haven't noticed before, in the loading screen in between, we've got the latest Premier League fixtures even though we're playing an FA Cup game. I'm not sure that normally happens, but either way it's helping us out. I'm pretty sure Liverpool weren't winning and that's the most important thing. But we're focused on ourselves here. A nice triangle in the middle with Arzani. He finds Luiz and now Oliveira. Scored one special goal in Lyon, but can't quite do the same here. As Pickford picks up the ball, it was probably going wide anyway. Gustavo hoofs it away. Ribeiro flicks it on, but Konza's the only man there. Let's hope he doesn't make another error. All the way back to David Raya in goal, but Alarcon wins the header. Now it's the left winger up to Ribeiro. I always go to pronounce his name and then realise I can't do it, but I got away with it just in time on this occasion. Luiz brings it away to Arzani. Can we counter-attack now over halfway? Finds Florentin Bernard. He's had another poor game. He's on another one of those barren spells. He's not scored for 4 or 5 now. Barrett charges into the box though, given a free pass by the defenders, but it's straight at Pickford as we waste another effort. Chelsea have still only had the one shot on target, but they look just as threatening on the break, and Alarcon at the back post has a free header. David Raya makes the save. 20 to go, we'll make some substitutions. Let's pause the game and have a little think about it. There are a few obvious candidates to be replaced here. Billy Gilmour has to be the first off. He's one of the most tired and he's getting caught out in the middle. We'll bring Rivera on as a central midfielder in defend, the role that he prefers anyway there. An experienced player in the middle and I'm sure he'll do well there. We've got a bit of a dilemma with the front three. Brian Barrett's apprehensive, but he's got the best rating of them, whereas Oliveira and Bernard are much worse, but they seem to be more motivated and in a much more confident mood. I don't know whether to bring Zia or Greenwood on as well. We've got two really good backup strikers. I don't know which one would cause more trouble. They've got very differing stats and I'm not sure which one would be best on this occasion. I'm going to take the gamble, live or die by the sword. Mauricio Zia's coming on up front. He's been in brilliant form, so why not go for it? Oliveira replaced by Ranzan. They've got the best star ratings out of the 3 options as well, so hopefully they'll be the ones to change the game. Greenwood's a good player, but we haven't got a natural left winger, so we're going to leave Brian Barrett on and hope the other lads inspire him. Let's get back into the game and see if those changes make a difference. Just over 10 to go is Jamal Lewis with a throw on the left. He finds Rivera who plays the 1-2. Ranzan to Douglas Luiz, 25 yards out. We know he likes special goals, particularly in the FA Cup semi-final, but on this occasion he doesn't do it, and now Chelsea are in on the counter. Oh, that's awful. That is absolutely awful. Of all the days to do it, is that Janderson who went sliding in? It is. He went hacking into a challenge. The left winger just stood there and waited for him to fall, and then went round him and put it in the back of the net. We're going to go go to attacking for the last 5, and we're also going to demand more from the lads. What an awful time to throw it away. The match engine must assume Jamal Lewis to be at fault. His match rating's plummeted since, but I can't see what he did wrong there other than take the throw-in. Awful defending at the back, and it looks like our dream of the FA Cup has gone. My favourite competition in real life, and I'm not going to be able to win it again. We've been to the final once and lost with Newcastle, and now we're going to lose at the semi, and knowing that Stoke were there in the final for the taking makes it all the more frustrating. It's Gomez with a throw at right back, just 30 seconds to go, and the left winger's got it forward to Barella as Chelsea just see out time. Barella again to Kurt Zouma. He's still going in the Chelsea first team. To Barella again, there's no need to commentate, they're just keeping it and seeing the game out as Phil Foden gets it forward again. To the overlapping left back, the final whistle goes and we're out of the FA Cup. You can understand why it's happened. Chelsea are third in the league. They're a fantastic side and we've been beaten by them today. We're going to tell the lads the effort was excellent. They did really well against a better side, and in truth, in terms of stats, we dominated the game, but you can't give away the 2 goals we did and expect to get to the final. We've been punished for our defensive naivety today, and we'll go and see what the media have said about the game before really putting a focus on the Europa League and trying to get to the final of that one. There's confirmation we're out then. Liverpool drew 0-0 at West Ham, so they haven't widened the gap too much. We may still have a chance in that one. Tottenham won against Arsenal, but we already knew that from the table earlier on. The media say we've fallen to a late defeat, but you can see we dominated the possession and the shot count. We really were the better side, but we didn't take enough of our chances, and we gifted 2 goals on the break. Really poor defending, and it's such a shame to lose in that fashion, as we've been brilliant all season, but are starting to slide at the back. There's further confirmation we're out of the FA Cup. They seem really keen to rub it in our face. We'll deal with a press conference off camera in a minute, and there's a bit of confirmation for some more money coming into the club. We're now back into the black before we've reached the end of the season. Let's go and look at the schedule though. That's the most important thing. We've got some massive Europa League games coming up. The 2 legs against Valencia, sandwiched by the Stoke game in the Premier League. I'm sure you'll be able to guess we'll be making 11 changes for that league game, but we've really got to focus on getting through now, as it's our only other chance of winning a trophy. If we go out of that, we'll go all out for the top 4, and fingers crossed we'll be able to do that and secure Champions League football somehow next year. If the tie's looking really tight, we'll come back for the second leg of the Valencia game. At the very most, we're going to have 3 more episodes this year. If we go all the way in the Europa League, we'll have the second leg of the quarter-final, semi-final, as well as the final, of course. So a slightly longer season than normal, but I'm sure you can understand with all the cup runs we've gone on why I want to show you us getting to the end of these competitions and finally competing for trophies after 8 or 9 frustrating years. Let's not forget we failed at our first 2 clubs, so this is a lovely position to be in, but the disappointment of losing the FA Cup semi-final is something that will take a while to get over. At least the Newcastle fans have got a major trophy to shout about. They've won their first one in years in the Carabao Cup final. But because we're greedy and on the hunt for trophies, we really would have loved another 1 or 2, and we've still got the chance to add Europa League glory. But that will be all for this episode. If you did enjoy it, please put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know what you thought of that semi-final performance and how we managed to throw that game away despite dominating it. I know Chelsea are the better side on paper, but without their best winger, I feel like we really gave away a brilliant chance there to reach another cup final and win another trophy at Wembley. Also, let me know if you think we'll get through in the Europa League. It's going to be a real tough 2 legs against Valencia. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from my 2 long-term stories. This one, The Head Coach, and our other series, The One Club Challenge with Torquay United. That one was back a couple of days ago with the start of season 10, so I hope you'll go back and check that out if you haven't already. It really is a historic moment for that career. Also, keep your eye out on the channel on Fridays for content from a couple of new sports games. There's one coming out each month for the next 3, and I'm really looking forward to trying them. The first of them is Snooker 19. That game was out this week, and there should have been a video out yesterday. All being well, I'm recording this in advance. So if you are a fan of other sports games, then do go along and check them out and let me know what you think of the content. It's something quite new for me. It's something I plan to do all the time, but haven't yet had the opportunity to. So I really hope that you'll very much enjoy it. But a massive thanks for watching and your continued support with the series as always. I really do appreciate it, and hopefully we'll be back in the next episode to make up for the disappointment of this one.